Hello everybody, I'm Richard Gon of Work to Live podcast version. This time, what I'd like to talk about is that Sanction is a barbarous idea, war is a civilized one. So, of course, I said Sanction, which is this topic is a kind of this topic is a kind of related to the war taking place which happened between Ukraine and Russia. So Russia, Russia. It is Russia, which get a lot of sanctions from a lot of European countries, but Russia has not stopped its warfare, which is why. So Ukraine is getting oppressed, or Ukraine is under attacks, which is why Ukraine is getting lost in the war between Russia and Ukraine. So anyway, so at least I'm recording this episode on March, maybe in the end of March in 2022, in which the war taking place between Ukraine and Russia has been prolonged, or has lasted for now, or even to this present time. So at least I'm, or you are, or we are in such a situation. So let me tell you the conclusion of this episode, in this part of this episode. So the conclusion is, you may find Russia and China barbarous, but wild and savage desires may be necessary for the development of human societies. So this how should I say? So looking back, what I thought hindsight, or looking back what I thought at hindsight. So this is, so so I reviewed my own thoughts in the past about the war taking place between Ukraine and Russia. I mean, I reviewed my thoughts about the war, or about this war between Russia and Ukraine. But actually, so I thought there were some points I have to be sure. So I thought there were some improvements I need, or I felt I needed. So in my thinking processes, or in my thought processes. So what is that necessary improvement? Well, what was necessary in my thought process was, so at first I thought Western European countries are civilized, and what Russia did was really a savage or barbarous act, which is what I thought. I'm sorry for the voices. I live in an Asian country, which is why what you heard might be what you heard is an Asian language. So I live in an Asian country anyway. So coming back to the original topic of this episode. So at first, Western European countries are civilized, and Russia is not so civilized. Or so pointing out the action taken by Russia against Ukraine. So so Russia invaded or intruded into the soil of Ukraine, which I maybe a lot of people have found that action taken by Russian government really savage, or really nasty, which is what most people think, which I think is most people think about the actions, or the action taken by Russia against Ukraine. So in this situation, Russia assaulted, or Russia has assaulted, or Russia continuously assaults Ukraine, and many people passed away, which is the situation in Ukraine. Anyway, so thinking about which, it is natural to think that Russia and China are barbarous or savage, but actually thinking also about Russia, thinking also about that Russia and China are really huge countries, having a lot of nations. So both of them have some both of those countries have a lot of ethnic groups which are different or who are different each other. So in such a sense or in such a way, I think it's possible to, or I think it can be natural to say that those two countries, those two countries, Russia and China, might be civilized, which is what I thought. So why I thought is because, as I told you in the part of conclusion, so I told you as a conclusion that you may find Russia and China barbarous, but wild and savage desires may be necessary for the development of human societies. So let me change the topic from the warfare or from the war between Russia and Ukraine and the development of China, or the discussion whether Russia and China are developed or civilized or not. So yeah. Next part is wild and savage desires. So I don't have to tell you this, but so so sexual desire is necessary, which most of us or all of us are surely or are sure. So sexual desire is necessary, which is about which most of people are sure. I think so, and I'm not saying this because I'm an adult content creator. So if you are frequent listeners, you know that I'm a adult content creator or adult content creator. But actually, this is not my being adult content creator. It's not the reason why I said sexual desire is necessary. So generally speaking, sexual desire is necessary to get offspring, so to get children, to make human societies flourish. Without sexual desire, human societies or human societies could not have flourished or developed to this level we enjoy in this time. But actually, so people do not, of course, I don't have to tell you this, but people do not like sexual desires. So at least people want to hide. I think there are fairly many people who want to hide their own sexual desires. But actually, we think, or we find sexual desires necessary for the not only for the drive of the flourishment of human societies, but also I think some people know that. So maybe some people know that some successful people are promiscuous, or maybe if you know some successful people, maybe some of those successful people are vigorous, and they want a lot of sexual intercourse. How should I say? So what I'm telling you is that some successful people are likely to engage themselves into sexual intercourse, or some successful people are likely to engage themselves into promiscuous actions or promiscuous acts, which is what I'm telling you. Of course, not all successful people. I'm sorry for my bad pronunciation, but not all successful people are promiscuous, and I think not all successful people have or wants to. Not all successful people wants to have sexual intercourse a lot of times. So if you think the predilections of rich people or predilections of successful people, so it's possible to say that so more successful people want to behave more promiscuously, or more successful people like sexual intercourse. more or better, which is what I'm telling you, and which I think most people I think most people understand. So which means why I began to talk about sexual desire is because sexual desires are, I think sexual desire is one of the dirty desires or savage desires or wild desires wild animals also have. So thinking about such a thing. So I think it's possible to say that, for example, sexual desire or other types of dirty or dark or savage and barbarous desires can be necessary for the flourishment or the prosperities of human societies, and China and Russia may have more darker desires or more dark desires or for example for more sexual desires. I don't know whether Xi Jinping and Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin are promiscuous or not. But actually, so thinking about the fact that, or thinking about some kind of principle that dark desires like sexual desire are necessary for the drives making human societies flourish. So thinking about such a fact, or such a thoughts that some for example dark desires or wild desires like sexual desire are necessary or foundations of the development of human societies. So thinking about such a fact, I think Russia and China can be more civilized than our societies. And I live in a developed country in Asia, and frequently the frequent listeners of my podcast are American people, and other frequent listeners live in Western developed or advanced European countries. But actually, so American people are fine. So because American people. So I'm not saying that all the American people are promiscuous, or I'm not saying all the American people are. I'm not saying all the American people want to have sexual intercourse a lot of times. I don't think stuff like that. But actually, comparing or thinking about the predilections thinking about the predilections and the behaviors of general public in the United States of America. So American people may be able to understand the feelings or the behaviors of Russian people and Chinese people when it comes to in terms of the sexual behaviors or promiscuous behaviors, for example. I'm not saying all the people can understand each other in the case of the United States of America in terms of sexual behaviors or promiscuous behaviors. So, but actually, what I'm telling you is a kind of likelihood or tendencies of the general publics or stuff like that. And in the case of European countries, or in the case of frequent listeners of living in European countries, so we may be able to understand each other because the situation of this country can be alike to those of Western advanced developed countries. So which is why I'm not that promiscuous. I'm not a promiscuous type, and other people are not that promiscuous type. And of course there are of course this country has some successful people who behave promiscuously. But actually, the people or the local people in this country are not that barbarous. Or the local people in this country are not barbarous or no. The local people in this country are not wild nor savage. So thinking about such a fact that, so of course, it's up to you whether you want to behave promiscuously or not. But actually, so if there is a country whose people or whose citizens behave promiscuously, so that can I don't think it's 100% correct that such countries with promiscuous people are really barbarous or really savage. I don't think it's possible to say such a thing, which is what I'd like you to know this time. So, coming back to the original topic of this episode, so the title is Sanction is a barbarous idea, war is a civilized one. So conclusion is, you may find Russia and China barbarous, but wild and savage desires may be necessary for the development of human societies. So thinking about which, so at last, I'm not telling you to buy my adult contents. I'm not advertising my own adult contents this time, but actually, so at least I'd like you to know that so sexual desire can be necessary for the development of human societies, or at least I said the wrong stuff. Not sexual desire can be necessary, but sexual desire is surely necessary for the development of human societies, and sexual desire is a foundation of human societies or the development of human societies, which is also what I'd like you to know this time. So that's it. Thank you very much for your listening. See you.